We're live. Hi, our dear friends. Thank you for joining us to yet another session of F.I.R.E Friday. Yeah, it's a good day, and as usual, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to just interact with us. Today, we'll be talking about what happens after F.I.R.E, after you have achieved financial independence. Then what? Yeah, so I think it's an exciting topic. Allow me to pray, and then we can officially begin. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you that you've given us an opportunity to just have conversations around financial independence. Lord, we welcome you. Be with us as we start. Be with us from the beginning to the end. I pray for all those who will join. Lord, I pray that you will bless them, and they will learn, and we will all learn from each other. I pray for those who live and watch later. Lord, I pray that they'll also enjoy this session. We thank you for you are a good God, and you love us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. 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 Let me see those who've joined us. Oh, Mr. Mcharo, thanks, honey. I can see you. Let me just read what is written. It's like asking what next after an Olympic gold or Oscar or Nobel Peace Prize. Thanks, honey. Yeah, we would be happy to hear your comments on that. Hannah, nice topic, really excited. Martha, welcome to the F.I.R.E tribe. Yes, thanks, Martha. Today's question is, what next? So we've been talking about financial independence in many sessions here. So what next? So this is what we are pursuing. So once you've achieved it, and then that's the question we'll be discussing today. Martha, again, thank you for joining us. Oh yeah, that's just Martha thanking all of us. Isaac, yeah, I can see a number of people on Instagram. Thank you guys for joining. Always a pleasure to have all of you here. I'm going to ask us a question. What is financial independence to you? What is F.I.R.E? Let's start there. Before we start discussing what next after F.I.R.E, let's first try and just discuss what is F.I.R.E to you. How do you define F.I.R.E? In your own words, 2 words, 3 words, what is it? Yeah, please share your comments. Share your comments. I can see Kevin. Share your comments on what F.I.R.E is. We've talked about F.I.R.E here many times. We call this session F.I.R.E, but do we know what F.I.R.E is? So I'd be glad to just hear your thoughts around that. And next, what do you think? The question of what next after F.I.R.E? If you can answer that as well. So what is F.I.R.E to you? And according to you, what next after F.I.R.E? Why is it important to even try to be financially independent? So hopefully you guys can just keep the conversation going and share your comments on that. Any comment on what F.I.R.E is? Not yet, none so far, but I hope your comments will be coming. I'll give you a scenario of what's happening now. What's happening now in TSAVO and what's happening to Mr. Mcharo. So he's been in Taita for, let's say, what, 3 months, going to 3 months, or it will be 3 months in December. And why is it that it is possible for him to be in Taita? We'll be sharing his experience today. Why is it that it's possible for him to take 3 months off and just go and not be in the office? So back to our story as Mcharo, from our story, Mcharo and I, after we attained financial independence, after we got to a place where we felt we had enough cash flows, monthly cash flows to meet all our needs, that's when we incorporated TSAVO, and we have talked about that here. And in the initial years of starting TSAVO, the conversations that we were having were more, what do we want to do? Why was it possible for us to have conversations of what do we want to do after we had achieved financial independence? It's because all our needs were being taken care of by a totally different source of income. So it gave us the free, we can start a company together to do with that. The freedom to sit and think and crack our heads and even come up with the business model that we have today, right? So I've given you leakage. So that's what happens when you achieve financial independence. You're able to sit down and pursue your purpose. Now, when you're working, for as long as you're working, you're always motivated by money. We are always motivated by survival. You know, I need to work to be able to earn an income, to be able to survive, to be able to pay my bills. We are always motivated by that. But when you achieve financial independence, money stops to be a motivator. So you have to reach within yourself and find out what is my purpose. You have to reach within yourself and find out what am I passionate about and start exploring the things you're passionate about. So that's one advantage of what you can do when you achieved FIRE. But let me see what any comments we have here. Sonia, choices. Yes, I agree with you, Sonia. Ability to live life without constantly worrying about survival. That is spot on. Financial independence gives you choices. It gives you freedom, and it just allows you to live without worrying about survival. Let me tell you, if you're working somewhere and your motivator is money, a lot of times the people who are motivated by money and the people who are motivated by passion, the person motivated by money will not excel in their performance as much as the person who's motivated by passion, because you're always scared, especially if you're employed and you're thinking, I need this job so that I can pay my bills. You will always be scared of losing your money. So you will not be as vocal. You will not be able to take risks. You will not be able to even, sometimes you're working in an environment where you're required to do certain things that you're not happy about, but you will never be able to say no. Why? Because you're already scared. This is the source of your livelihood. This is the source of your survival. So you're always scared, and so you can't be bold enough, and you can't be able to make certain decisions. So yes, so a person who's working for survival and a person who they're doing it because they love it, the person doing it because they love it will always do better. And unfortunately, if you're employed, if you're doing it for survival and you're scared, most likely you might actually literally lose that job in time. So being motivated by survival, at the beginning, I think maybe it's important. I mean, we all start there, unless you have an inheritance or something. We all start there. But how do you quickly turn it from being survival to being something that you enjoy? And I have another question for us. You know, those of us who are here, if you're working somewhere today and you had a choice of not working there, would you continue working there? I hope my question makes sense. Like, I'm employed somewhere, I'm a bank teller or I'm an accountant somewhere, and that's my day job. If I had another option, would I continue working there? That's one way to gauge whether you're being motivated by money or by passion. If you can work there even when you're not paid, then that is being driven by passion. But if you need to work there, you know, then of course you're driven by money. And then another thing is, maybe you have very many grand ideas in your head, but just because of the money needs, just because of that, you know, you end up staying where you are. Yeah, so let's see. Sonia, thanks. Yeah, we've read Sonia. Kevin, welcome. Evans, thanks, Evans. Attaining freedom from enjoying freedom too. Attaining freedom from, okay. Attaining freedom from whatever it is you are doing and enjoying the freedom to explore something different, pursue your passion, you know, pursue your purpose. So moving from what you felt like you didn't have freedom from, what, you know, like probably not really a prison, but, you know, a job you didn't like, to having freedom now to pursue your purpose. Thanks a lot, Evans. Kevin, FIRE is having assets that create monthly passive income to financially your need, to finance your needs. Thank you very much, Kevin. So FIRE is having assets that generate sufficient monthly passive cash flows. You've said to finance your needs, but also you can say to finance your purpose. Yeah, so that is what FIRE is. So you need to have monthly cash flows, they need to be sufficient, and they need to be passive. June, anticipating an inspiring session. Thanks, June. Evans, true, money is a strong motivator. Pre-FIRE, yes. Pre-FIRE, money is a strong motivator, but after you've achieved financial independence, you need to have another motivator, and you can only find that within yourself. Sonia, again, after FIRE, you're able to engage in activities that fulfill you. Spot on. Money is not the primary focus. Yes. So those are the things we're looking forward to. Why are we saying we need to be financially independent? We want to be financially independent so that we can be able to engage in activities that fulfill us, to be able to be in a place where money ceases to be the primary motivator. We at TSAVO define financial independence as having assets that generate sufficient monthly cash flows to finance your purpose. Thank you, Martha. My dear sister Emily Mcharo, what is FIRE to you? Pastor Veri, what's FIRE to you? I can see you're already on fire. But thanks, guys, for those comments. Yeah, and then I think I have a comment on Instagram. FIRE is an employment insurance. Yes, I think I agree with that as well. FIRE is insurance against unemployment. So if you've already achieved financial independence, unemployment is not a big deal because it's choice. You actually choose to be employed or not to be employed. Yeah. So let's come back to our story as I wait for more comments from you. So let's come back to Mcharo and I. So we started TSAVO and we had already attained financial independence. The one thing that I think FIRE helps you do, you can actually, in addition to pursuing your purpose, you can actually end up making more money after you have achieved financial independence than prior. And I mean, listen to this. When money is my motivator, I am employed and financial independence, I start something that and comes up, we almost close to a year we wanted to do and creating the business model that we have today. So that was only possible because we had achieved financial independence. So that freedom to even think and create something, you're passionate about it, and it's no longer, I offer a service and I earn a salary. It's creating a business model that is able to generate cash flow. So it's actually possible that after you have achieved financial independence, you're able to create a model that will generate a lot more money than when you're being driven by money. After you have discovered what's your purpose and what's your passion. Now, after you have achieved financial independence, and you have all these ideas in your head of what you can do, because someone will ask, you know, and I'm sure someone will ask in time in this session, so why retire early? Because financial independence, retire early. Who wants to retire at 35? Who wants to retire at 40? So retire and do what? Yeah? So it's not ultimately to retire and sit at home. It is to retire from being motivated by money to being at a place where you can choose. You can choose, do I want to work? So you can choose if you want to work, where you want to work, what your work should be about, and even who do you want to work with. So it gives you the freedom to make those choices. So do I want to work? That's the if. What do I want to work on? How do I want to work? And with whom do I want to work with, right? So it gives you those choices to just decide if you want to still continue working. And your choice could be, I do not want to work in something that is revenue generating. I already have the cash flows. I want to pursue something that I'm passionate about that perhaps is not revenue generating. And that's okay. But also you can decide, I'm going to pursue something that's revenue generating. And I was listening to a lady who was saying that by the time most of us retire, you know, your typical retirement age, if all of us ever get there, by the time you're retiring, is it 60 or 65? You then end up with a lot of time at an age where you're not as active, at an age where you perhaps cannot travel as much as you'd like, you cannot pursue your purpose at that time, you cannot pursue your passion at that time. You're already sort of like, you know, your years are, at 65, you're definitely not as active as at 40. So is it possible to take all that time? Because we say at that time you're time rich. Is it possible to take that time and bring it forward in bits? Is it possible to bring it forward? So as you're making the decision of if I want to work, where I want to work, what I want to work, and how much time do I want to put into working, you're able to then say, I have like, you know, you have sessions where you're actually not working within your season of 40 to 50 or 50 to 60. That gives you that, because at that time, if you choose, I'm not working now and I'm traveling, I think it's more fulfilling because you're still more energetic, you know, it's more fulfilling to do it at that time. So this retirement of 65, we're just saying bring it closer, and we call it like mini retirement, where you choose, I'll work today, I won't work tomorrow, you know, or I want to work on this, I don't want to work on this. So that freedom, you only get it after you've achieved financial independence. Billionaire, welcome. FIRE is owning my 24 hours, exactly. FIRE is being in control of your time and deciding out of these 24 hours, how do I want to spend it? Yeah, billionaire, again, FIRE is time and financial freedom, yes. Yes, again, freedom comes up, financial freedom comes up, time freedom comes up. And I'd like to say, transfer the time from 65 to perhaps 80, transfer it to now and have that time freedom. Now, again, coming back to us, so we've started TSAVO and we're already offering this product. And I mean, we are generating cash flows for our investors, and we're happy because this is our purpose. But we then have the freedom to decide, out of 12 months in a year, I can choose to work for 10. And I'll tell you about Mr. Mcharo. Around about October last year, he took 3 months off. And last year, it was just 3 months off to sit and think. Now, if he was employed, would he have had the freedom to do that? Highly unlikely. He wouldn't have had the freedom to do that. So he's taken 3 months off. He is at home and he's spending that time thinking. What did he do after that? I'm just trying to paint a picture for us of what freedom does. Just because he's allowed his brain to have brain space to think, he's able to come back with extremely great ideas. But if he was working, first, he would not have the 3 months. And second, you're in the grind on a daily basis, so you don't even have capacity to think. So that's another big benefit of FIRE. So for him, for example, he took 3 months off last year. By the time he was coming back in January, he had grand ideas or a way we could tweak a business model that would make it extremely profitable. So would he have done that if he hadn't taken the 3 months off? Maybe not, because then his mind would have been clogged with the day-to-day sort of running of the business. Yeah, so FIRE gives you that freedom. Number two, even this year, again, in October, he took time off. He took time off and he's gone home. And what is his typical day? His typical day is leave the house. He has a construction project going on, a smaller project. He's practicing architecture, something that he loves. And he just spends time there and he's extremely fulfilled. But why is he able to do that? Just because he's achieved financial independence. If you achieve FIRE, it just gives you the freedom to still work. He still lives home maybe 8, sometimes 10 years, but he's still able to work, but he's doing something that he's extremely passionate about, and he's doing something that he actually loves. So that's what FIRE gives you ultimately, yeah? And when he comes back, perhaps when he comes back in January, we don't know, he'll come up with other big ideas that will benefit the business. So that freedom is very, very essential. And he's only able to do this because he sorted out his cash flows a long time ago. So cash flows is no longer an issue for him. He is just pursuing his purpose. My story is a little different because some people say I'm a workaholic. I love working, but I still have the freedom. I mean, I've just come from Taita today. I still have the freedom to take a week and come back, which I would never have been able to do, especially when I was working in the bank. I would never have been able to do this. So it's even me, it has just given me the freedom. I'm doing this because I love it. I love to work. I mean, I enjoy working, so I'm able to do this. But when on an occasional basis, when I want time off, I'm then able to take time off. So those are some benefits of. But for me, my ideal candidate of what life looks like after FIRE is Mr. Mcharo, and I hope he can comment here and affirm what I'm saying, because that is true. He has taken FIRE literally, and he's able to take time off and just decide, for the next 1 month, I'm not going to work. I'm taking time to think. For the next 1 month or for the next 3 months, I'm actually even leaving Nairobi. I'm going somewhere to just take time to think. And those are the benefits of financial independence. Now, again, something else that he is doing. So for us, I think it's been in 2 stages. There was FIRE for us as individuals. Then we started the business, and we wanted to, whatever we had achieved for ourselves, and we've talked about it here, we wanted to help other Kenyans also achieve financial independence. So hence our product, hence, everything around TSAVO our purpose is to enable our investors to achieve financial independence. Okay, if I came to you and said my purpose is to enable you achieve financial independence, and I personally have not achieved financial independence, would that sit well with you? Perhaps not. So the second level now is TSAVO's level, where we want to enable our investors to achieve financial independence. the third level is Mr. Mcharo is extremely passionate about philanthropy, and that has been made possible by first him becoming financially independent, and second by him being able to develop a business that's a profitable business. So that is his passion. You know, in addition to financial independence, he wants to be able to make a difference, to make an impact in other people's lives, right? So he's in a place where he's started thinking about philanthropy. He started thinking about he wants to impact other children with a focus more on education. He wants to see if he can be able to change, you know, generations even in Taita through education. And so even in this season where he's not here, he's in a place where he's talking to people, trying to understand what are the needs of the society, in specifically in where he comes from in Motate, what are the needs of the children there, and how can he plug in to be able to make an impact? Would he have been able to do that without FIRE? The answer is a big no. He would not have been able to do that. First, he would be struggling to survive. He'd be struggling to survive. He'll be struggling to make ends meet. He'll be struggling with his children and his family. But just because he's been able to achieve financial independence, now he's able to see, what's my purpose? Do I want to have an impact on other God's children? And therefore, he's able to do that. And then the business will also enable him to do that, because he's been able to build a business that, you know, can be able to fund his philanthropic activities. So those are benefits. Those are benefits of FIRE. So while FIRE, or the journey towards becoming financially independent, can seem difficult at the beginning, the journey towards financial independence can seem difficult. It can seem like it's hard, but ultimately it makes it possible for you to achieve your purpose. Ultimately, it makes it possible for you to achieve your passion. Yeah. Let me see if you have any comments here. Stella, is there anything like being overly is there anything like being overly financially independent, having in mind that with more money comes more responsibilities? Okay, is there anything like being overly financially independent? I don't think so. Once you've achieved financial independence, you've achieved financial independence. I'm not sure, unless you mean, is there something like, you know, having more money than you require in your financial independence state? With more money comes more responsibilities. Definitely, with more money comes more responsibilities. And I think if God can allow you to make an impact in people, in his children's life, because you're financially independent, why not? Yeah. So I don't think there's anything wrong with those, you know, getting more responsibilities after you have achieved financial independence, Stella. Yeah, I don't think there's anything negative. Like just using Mr. Mcharo's example, he's actually going out and looking for more responsibilities now. Because what's the purpose of money if it's not going to impact other people, right? So I think it's okay to end up with more responsibilities because you've attained financial independence, Stella. Higher. Who are you looking up to when you are on your journey? Were we looking up to anyone? Let me think. I think it was our journey. I think it was our journey. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Was there someone we were looking up to? No one comes to me. Of course, there were people we were running away from. Like there were experiences of people that we were running away from. And mainly experiences of perhaps even relatives or family members who had been okay when they were working, and then life became very hard. So we were running away from that. But someone we were looking up to and saying we would like to be like this person, I don't think so. Yes, there are people like, let me say like Mr. Mcharo's grandfather, who was not necessarily rich, but he was okay. He was okay way into his, you know, into his 90s when he died. He was okay. He could sort himself. He could meet all his needs without needing the support of anybody. I think our grandfather, yes, was someone we perhaps looked up to. But maybe our peer, no, not really our peer. Yes. Mr. Mcharo, I agree with you fully. Time off helps me impact the business better. Financial independence has been at 3 levels: ourselves, the middle class, The downtrodden. I'm now beginning on number 3. Okay, so yes, thanks, Honey, for clarifying that and putting it into perspective. So number 1 was financial independence for ourselves, and then number 2 is our investors, like to enable investors to achieve financial independence, and number 3 is the downtrodden, and that's the space he's in right now. That's the space Mr. Mcharo is in right now. In addition to just finding other ways to make the business grow or build leadership even in the business, in addition to everything he's thinking about for the business, he's actually focusing on number 3, which is really, really philanthropy, which is really making a difference in other people's lives. Yes. Thanks, Honey, for that. Sonia, how do you go about deciding a monthly FIRE number given the life fluctuation, e.g. unexpected expenses, supporting family members? Okay. So, Sonia, your financial independence number is a personal number. So it's a number that you decide, and it doesn't have to be scientific. It doesn't have to be like 100% accurate. You can come up with a number that you say, once I achieve this number from passive cash flows, I should be financially independent. And the way to do that, don't look at your expenses today. If you narrow it down to my expenses today, you might end up in a bit of a difficult position. Try and project. I want to be financially independent in 5 years or in 10 years. For us, it was 15 years. I want to be financially independent in 15 years. My expenses today are 50,000. My expenses in 15 years will not be 50,000. So it needs to be a number that you need to be able to extrapolate. What is that 50,000 in 15 years? And then look at your life circumstances. For us, we had children, and we're thinking campus school fees. We're thinking old age comes with diseases. I mean, we're thinking about those things. So try and extrapolate. If you just look at what I earn today and what are my expenses today and what are the little fluctuations in my expenses today, you might come up with a number that is very low. But try and extrapolate it to the future, and that way you'll be able to come up with a number that will be a versatile number that will even drive you more. Yeah? So remember we said our financial independence number was 500,000, but we were not earning 50,000 at the time. Perhaps we were earning a combined salary of 50,000 at the time. Yeah? I hope I've been able to help you, Sonia. Yeah, so don't look at today only, but try and extrapolate. Mr. Mcharo, Sam, not really. We probably avoided habits more than we copied. That's true. He's trying to answer the question of who are we looking up to in our journey towards financial independence. And then, Kefa, what hurdles did you encounter on your way to financial independence? What hurdles did you encounter? Many hurdles. I think the biggest hurdle was more just the discipline. And in time, it stopped even to be hurdles. At the beginning, the discipline to live lean, the discipline to live within a certain budget, not to increase our lifestyle or our standard of living, even as our incomes increased, that we decided our standard of living will be, static while our income is increasing, so that everything extra goes to the investment. So at the beginning, of course, making those decisions was difficult. Of course, at the beginning, the conversations with Mr. Mcharo were, they helped us talk a lot, but, I'm sure we disagreed at the beginning. I'm sure it took us time to really gel and be of one purpose. Maybe I would call those as the hurdles we went through, but really, really in time, they became a way of life. Like, even after we attained financial independence, it didn't look like we were giving up life to become financially independent. Because after we became financially independent, nothing significantly changed in our lifestyle. We didn't say, phew, now we have arrived. Now let's spend. No. We didn't significantly change our standards of living because we were not enduring the process. We were not enduring the journey, but we were enjoying the journey. Yeah, we were enjoying the journey and we were happy. We were happy with who we were. It became our character. After you've lived a certain kind of life for 15 years, it becomes really who you are. So even if you've achieved FIRE, you're not going to be a spendthrift on day 2 or day 1 just because you've achieved FIRE. You'll still remain the person you are because that's your character. It has now become your character. Yes. So Kefa, I wouldn't say we went through many hurdles. It was more the journey, and each part of the journey became part of our character, and it became really who we are. And I would really like to just emphasize on that. It doesn't have to be like you're enduring it. You know, it's like going to the gym. Maybe when you go to the gym the first week, it's hard. You'll have your, you know, every part of your body sort of like aching. But after a week or two, you actually miss going to the gym. It becomes who you are, and then it becomes a habit, and it just becomes the thing you do. So I think even the financial independence journey is like that, and it becomes like that faster if the transformation happens in your mind first. So if the transformation happens in your mind, so you've changed your mindset, it ceases to be a struggle. It's just that's who you are, and that's what you do. Yeah, but thanks, Kefa, for that question. Isaac, did you have a timeline as a couple by when you are going to get to financially independent? Yes, we had a timeline. I think it was 15 years. It was by the time I am 40 and Ms. Mcharo is 45. But thank God we were able to hit that number before. I think I was 38 and he was 43 when we achieved financial independence. So, of course, it is important to have a timeline. It really helps. If you don't have a timeline, you won't know whether you have surpassed it or you're still on that journey or you stopped along the way and you don't know. But if you have a timeline, then you're able to track your milestones, you know. And even when you have a 15-year timeline, it will not happen on the 14th and the 15th year. It's going to happen from year 1, 2. So you need to be able to track your milestones as you go. Yes. Few habits are not easy to start or stop. Warren Buffett said, the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Yes. So if you're in the financial independence journey, if you can get to a place where the chains of this journey becomes hard to break, I think that's a good place to be. And that is why after FIRE, it's not that you go all out. And I think I've been asked by many of my friends or my peers or, you know, just young ladies, so hii maisha ya kuteseka ni mpaka lini, you know, it is seen like that. But the day you're able to change your mind to see that it is not life ya kuteseka, then you will not be looking forward to, you know, December 2035. Yeah, that then you'll have achieved FIRE and therefore you'll have the freedom to go all out. No, because it will have become a habit. You'd even struggle. I was listening to someone who was saying they achieved financial independence and they thought they were going to travel around the world. And yes, they did. But okay, you'll travel around the world for 3 months and then? So they thought now we'll start going out, we'll be eating out maybe, you know, 3 times a week. But you're so used to home food. So even after you've achieved FIRE, you'd rather just eat home food. I laugh when I go to Taita to see Mr. Mcharo because the places we eat, man, I mean, we eat food for 50 bob, 100 bob, and I'm just like, really, honey, what are we doing? But yes, that's what you do because it's a habit. And you're happy to eat healthy, simple. So yes. Evans, did you think about what you wanted to do after FIRE when you were on the journey? The truth is, Evans, no. We didn't. Honey, help me here if I've forgotten, but I don't think it was very clear in our heads. After FIRE, we are going to open TSAVO, and when we open TSAVO, we're going to start a real estate business, and this is how it's going to look like, and we will have a philanthropy, whatever arm at some point. No, I don't think that would be true. I think we knew we wanted to achieve financial independence. This is our financial independence number, and this is what we're working towards. We knew that, you know, in time, not at the beginning, but as we were going on, and of course I was working in the bank, and I was laughing at myself today because I remember when I was in Juba, I would be in a flight and I'd be working, get to the bank, continue working. I mean, it was just a life of working. But closer to attaining financial independence, then you start thinking, I don't like this. I want to change this. I want this to end. So maybe in time, it became an issue of what, you know, I have the freedom to stop doing what I am doing. But we didn't have clarity of which type of business we were going to start. Again, once you have the freedom, then you're at a space where your brain is able to think like that. Now, many of us think, I want to be an entrepreneur. When you're still in your financial independence journey, and maybe you have very many business ideas of the things you would like to do after you've attained financial independence. And that's good. But after you've attained financial independence and now you have the freedom, there's a possibility you might not pursue all the business ideas you had. And I'll tell you why. Those business ideas were in your head because they were being driven by money. But after you've attained FIRE, you're not driven by money anymore. So even some of the business ideas you had, you might find you're changing them. Because now you'll be like, am I passionate about that? Is that my purpose? Am I gonna enjoy that? So it ceases to be just the profit number, and it becomes more, an internal drive of what you like or what you're passionate about, and things like that. But even what I would like to encourage us is, there's a book called Business Principles from the Bible. It's written by a Jew, and he says, find out the needs of God's children. If you're in a season where you're trying to think, what do you want to do after FIRE, find out the needs of God's children and then meet those needs. If you're able to meet those needs, you could be financially independent, but I'm sure you will be able to make more money than you did when you're in the journey to financial independence. Yeah. But thanks, Evans, for that question. Where were we? Evans, how much did you focus on that? How much did you focus on that? How much did we focus on being financially independent, Evans? Is that a question? Yes, if the question is how much did you focus on being financially independent, a lot. It was our daily conversations. Yeah, our daily conversation, our behavior, all decisions, we focus on that a lot. Is it true? Thanks, Alex. Is it true that after hitting your number is when you start making real wealth? For us, it has been true. I can answer that for sure. For us, it has been true. I think in 15 years we built 100 studios in 15 years. When we started TSAVO, our first project, we did 60 units in 15 months, and then we did 100 units in 13 months. So you can compare. So it took us 15 years to build 100 studios while we're walking the financial independence journey. And immediately after FIRE, the numbers, in the last 5 years, we have done how many units? Close to 1,200 units in the last 5 years. So yes, so for us, it's true that we've been able to make real wealth after FIRE. Is that true for everybody? I think it depends. Because someone can become financially independent, and in their decision of if they want to work, what they want to work on, with whom they want to work with, that decision, maybe the answer could be something that might not generate a lot of wealth, but they're extremely passionate about it. So yeah, it depends. Mtuku, during your financial independence journey, is it advisable to change your financial independence number? If not, why? Okay. I think you can change your financial independence number, but maybe not downwards. Maybe that's what I can say. Because your circumstances can change, you can come up with an F.I.R.E number when you're single and you don't have children. So your projection of your needs 5 years, 10 years from now might be understated. But circumstances could change, and then now you become a family, you have a spouse, you have children. That number will definitely perhaps need to change. Not to go down, because if it's going down, it means you're lowering your ambition. But yes, I think it can change. But thanks, Stella, for that. My dear husband, Evans, no, the journey was all consuming and enjoyable. We just focus on it. Things unravel as you grow. That is true. Even the growth in your mind, the things you're exposed to at 24, 25, 30 is very different. I think the person Mr. Mcharo is today is very different from the person he was when he was 30. So things come up as we go. Let me see, I think I have some questions in Facebook that I haven't looked at. Sally, a mind shift whereby you gain gratification from investing. Yes. do you know, I think you can actually get a lot of gratification from actually taking your money and investing in something and sitting down and saying, I'm a proud owner of a studio apartment. I think that's more gratification than I'm a proud owner of a Subaru. I think, yeah. So yeah. So as you're investing, just that's my prayer, that you then have the mind shift that allows you to really enjoy the journey and not to endure it. Yes. Thanks, Ali, for that. Brian, in terms of your legacy to your family, do you and Mr. Mcharo plan to make your kids financially independent as part of inheritance? Let me read that again. Do you and Mr. Mcharo plan to make your kids financially independent as part of their inheritance? How do I answer that question? Honey, would you like to help me? I think my children will benefit more if they also work towards becoming financially independent on their own. I think that would be better, and that will teach them lessons that will make them better stewards, if at all they have any inheritance. That's not assured. Knowing my husband, maybe they might not have any inheritance, I don't know. So if they're able to start walking the financial independence journey on their own, that will teach them lessons that they would never learn if they just inherited. And then they said, I'm financially independent because my father left me with something. No. My son, for example, he started working with us and he's already saving towards, investing in a studio apartment, and he's 19. Yeah. So and I'm encouraging him. Maybe someone can say, Simu mpatie too, but I'm not going to do that. He's going to invest like everybody else. He's going to work hard from his salary so that we even test it. We even test the model that it actually works even with our kids. Yeah. So Brian, I'm not sure whether I've answered you sufficiently, but that's the place we are at now. Will they inherit or not? That's a conversation for another day. But I would like that they learn and walk the financial independence journey for themselves. Yes. And then Marion, I think after FIRE you consolidate real wealth. Yes. Thanks, Claire. Thank you very much. Nice to have you here, Claire. Yes. After FIRE you're able to consolidate real wealth. And then Sherry, financial independence, is it for an individual or for the kids to inherit and be comfortable having finances? Sherry, your question is related to Brian. Yes, of course, the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children, but a better inheritance is in the mind. A better inheritance is the knowledge, the training, that everything we talk about here around financial independence, around how to run your money, that they're able to take everything we say here and make it part of who they are. That for me is a better inheritance than just saying, here is properties, here is money, here is take, it's yours for the taking. I think that's the reason why many wealthy Kenyans, their wealth has not been able to move from one generation to the next. Because once it moves to the second generation, they hadn't been properly trained, and so you'll find the businesses are run down, we become spendthrifts, and everything you worked hard for. Isn't it unfortunate? Because, we paid the price. Did we pay the price? We enjoyed the season, yes. But for 15 years, we were working towards becoming the people we are today. And if we just left it to our children and then, our grandchildren ultimately suffer, I think that would be a failure. We wouldn't have done them justice. Yes. But thanks, Sherry, for that question. What is the ideal age to achieve F.I.R.E? Again, I would say subjective. It's very, very dependent from one person to another. Perhaps there's someone who's listening and they're already 40 and they think they'll take 10 years to become financially independent. That takes them to 50. So if I say the ideal age to achieve financial independence is 40, like for me, what am I telling this person who's already 40 and they've not achieved it, right? So I kind of feel if you're young, if you're in your 20s, then, a 15-year period, and it's possible to achieve it even in 10, depending on what strategies you put in place. But at least by 40, if you're listening to this conversation and you're in your 20s, By 40, you should have achieved financial independence. But I just want to consider that there are many of us who are in our 40s, haven't achieved financial independence, and this is the right time to work towards it so that you don't feel like it's already too late. Sherry, I hope that's okay. Instagram, Munani, indeed, financial independence involves digging deep and asking, what is my purpose? Yes, that's very important. That's very important. And you can answer your purpose question even before you have attained financial independence. And maybe that's even a better driver, because once you have answered your purpose question, you'll be saying, what I'm doing is not in line with my purpose. I need to quickly sort out my financial independence so that I can go and pursue my purpose. And you find people who are like that, maybe they're able to even achieve their financial independence number sooner, maybe in 5 years, because the purpose is driving them. They can't wait to have the freedom to pursue their purpose. Yeah? So very important to think through your purpose. Any other questions in Instagram? I had a question from Archie. Does financial independence have to take very long? No, it doesn't have to take very long, Archie. It just depends on you. You can choose that you want to be financially independent in 3 years and work towards it. Yeah, but it's important to be realistic. It's important. Remember, being financially independent is using your cash flows from passive. You're using passive cash flows, right? So you're using passive cash flows and not active. So you just need to be cognizant of that. So getting, like for us, getting 500,000 shillings from passive income was a very big number. For us, it was a very big number at the time. Hence the reason why it was 15 years. Yeah. So sometimes it's nice to just have perspective, because if you put it like a very short time, you might become impatient and you must start feeling discouraged. Like it's already 3 years, it's already 5 years, I haven't achieved it, I've done everything I can. So it maybe helps to just give yourself a long-term horizon. If you achieve it sooner, then you clap for yourself and it's good. Yes. So thanks for that, Archie. Let me come back to Evans, no. Sophie Munyaka. As a lady, was it hard for you to have the mentality, strong mentality, to be able to think extreme, out of the box? And how did you push yourself even when overcoming storms? Okay. So as a lady, was it difficult? I think that's the question. Yeah. And how was I able to have that, be in that mental sort of frame to be able to push even when things were hard? Is there a difference between me being a lady and Mr. Mcharo being a man? I don't know. I think he's always been the leader of the family. I must admit it. I think he's the one who said, as I said here last week, he's the one who said he wanted to build flats, and I laughed. So he saw things way ahead of me. That is true. But because of my background, because of coming from a family of business people, because of coming from a family where we were okay, then my father died, then life became difficult, I could relate with what he was telling me, in the sense that we can't just rely on a salary. Things can take another shift. Or I was very passionate about my children going to Harvard. They still haven't. I was very passionate about my kids going to Harvard. So anything he would say that would help us get there, I was very ready to take it on. And I think, as I said, like even now, I'm the one who works, I wouldn't take 3 months to go and stay in theater, for example. So I've always loved working. So I don't think it was very hard for me, Sophie. Maybe I was just at a place where I acknowledged he's the leader, and I believed the path he wanted us to take. And it made sense, because he was not telling me, let's squander the money, let's live this kind of lifestyle. No. What he was saying made sense from a financial perspective, yes. So it wasn't very difficult, Sophie. And it wasn't difficult because it wasn't more difficult because I'm a lady, no. I think I was able to just have the mind frame to work at it. And yeah, even with the storms, that's why we're saying having that final purpose or that number really helps you, because when the storms come, and what are the storms? Storms are temptations, storms are days when you're feeling, why are we living like this? Yeah, maybe those are the storms. Or storms are days when you've gotten a bonus and your friends all have bought gadgets, and for you, you've gone and bought cement. Yeah, so those I'd say were the storms. But just because the why was very clear, then it wasn't difficult at all. Yeah. Sophie, you come off as a pillar of inspiration. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Agnes Kinyanjui, yes, thanks, Agnes. I can see you on fire. Mr. Mcharo, Brian, we intend to leave our children with the correct mindset. The money we intend to give away, hopefully give it all away while we are still alive. Yes. I'm laughing because I'm not too sure about that. It's one of those things that he is very, very sure, and I am here. Yeah. So he has some work to do with me. I agree with the first part that yes, we have to leave our children with the correct mindset, and yes, we shall be involved in philanthropy. So quite a bit of it will be given away to philanthropy. Alex Mcharo, consider giving me as you give. Yes, Alex. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? I think I'm done with the questions. Guys, keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming. Yes. So we can summarize. I think we have 7 minutes. So we can summarize. What are we saying? Are you happy? Do you think I'm happy? Someone is asking me if I'm happy. Yes, I am very happy. I'm not sure in what context, but yes, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with where I am. I'm very happy with what God has enabled us to do. I think in the business, I'm happy with the direction my children are taking. I'm happy with the partnership that we have with Mr. Mcharo. So yes, so I'm generally happy. Yeah. Okay, that's very personal, but yeah. So what have we said? So financial independence, we want to be at a place where you have sufficient cash flows to finance your purpose. So you need to have a purpose, right? So let's think about that. We've talked about financial independence number. Yes, you need to have a financial independence number. Again, dependent on who you are, that number could be different. The timelines to achieve that number, again, different per person. And then what happens after you've achieved financial independence? The biggest takeaway is what? I wish we could all say it. We can all type it. Let's type it. Freedom! The biggest takeaway after you've achieved financial independence is just the freedom. The freedom to decide if you want to work, what you want to do, where, with whom, what hours. That freedom that comes with being financially independent is the biggest takeaway. And in making that decision, pursuing your purpose at the time, it is possible that you can end up making real wealth at that point. It is possible that that is the season of your life that you would make more money than you had ever made, even in employment, and actually enjoy yourself while at it. Enjoy yourself because you're making it in your own terms, at your own terms. You can decide how much to push it. You can decide if it's a business, how far you want it to grow. So it just gives you all this freedom to really be the person that you want to be. I've said I love working, but I'll tell you, I was introduced, for example, to BSF when I was in Stanbic many years back. And I think I only went for 2 classes and that ended. But in this season of my life, I'm able to go for BSF classes. Before COVID, I used to go for BSF on Tuesday at 10 a.m., Tuesday at 10 a.m. Who does that when they're employed? So things like those. I'm able to go for my BSF classes. I'm able to meet with ladies. I'm able to, there are things you're able to do. And our last conversation, before I left home with Mr. Mcharo, we were just saying in this season of our life, it's no longer about money. Now the business is doing well. what do we want to do? And we're talking about focusing more on making meaningful relationships, meaningful interactions with people, because as you age, as you become 55, 60, what matters really is relationships and the impact you make in people's lives, yeah? So those are the things we want to focus on. I shouldn't just be sitting here all days. I should, create time, meet family, meet friends, build relationships that are meaningful, and be an inspiration to many of us, yeah, if possible. So in a nutshell, that's what you get when you become financially independent. So I think are those good things to aspire to achieve? So let's hang in there. Let's keep at it. And yeah, I think we can close now. Fire, freedom, freedom. Yes, that's what people are saying. We all agree on that. I think we can close now. I have a request. There are a number of us who've been very, very faithful in FIRE sessions. Yeah, so you've attended all our FIRE sessions. I mean, there are people who are not here today, but Billionaire definitely, Sherry definitely. There are a number of Evans. I'm trying to think of the names I see every day. Yes, there are a number of us who come. In fact, I'm being given a list. So Nguhi Mturi, Billionaire, Fomilayo, Lawrence Mtura, Shonia Muhammad, Ashley, Evans Musomi, Gerald Kiragu, Maria Chero, and Lea Mweta. Please, if you can reach out to us. They're reaching out to us where? Is there a number? Yeah, we're going to put a number. If you can kindly reach out to us. I think we have a gift for you, right? Yeah, we have a gift for you for always being here, for always just being here, and interacting with us. Yeah, so we have a gift for you for Christmas. And yeah, let's see what next week we'll have for all of us. Thank you very much. God bless you. And have a lovely weekend. Mr. Mcharo is saying something. Oh, okay. No. That was an earlier comment. Yes. Have a lovely weekend and God bless you all. Bye-bye.